are how we pass variables and other information around and between different Vue.js components. Okay, it's similar like how we pass variables into functions as arguments in Java, simple JavaScripts. Props are passed down to the component like it's in descendant order. Props are read only and cannot be modified by child components in which they are called or in which they are used. Okay, these are the props in Vue.js. How props work in Vue.js? Vue uses one-way data flow, meaning that data can only flow from a parent into a child component. You cannot pass data from a child to a parent, and because that parent component owns that value, it passed down. The child cannot modify it. It's the parent only who owns it. Okay, so these are the basic rules, two rules. Just make sure you don't violate these two rules and you will be golden in Vue.js, believe me. So we will move to the coding area.
Hello
Let's
guys,
move
welcome
there.
to the coding area. In last video we left where we were working on a button which was coming from a Vue.js component. So if you want to learn how to write Vue.js components, you can check my video, okay, in this series. So let's move on working with props in Vue.js. So first of all, let me refactor the code from the last video. This is so let's start. This is basically a Vue.js component as well, so we will move it to a separate file. Okay, we will give a name to that file with the name of app.js. Basically, if you look into any Vue.js professional project, you will see this kind of settings there. Okay, so basically I have to, sorry, I have not copied it. Okay, now I'm going to cut it from here and move it to the app.js. Instead of assigning it, let's export default. Okay, now come back to the index page. Instead of importing app button, we will now import app. Okay, from app.js, and we will use this app here. Okay, so basic code reformatting is done. So we are going to look into Vue.js props now. So let's start a new component in which we will look into Vue.js props from very scratch. So let's give a name to our component, book.js. Okay, this is our component with the name of book. Export default. Okay, we will define its template. Okay, and template usually we write it in backticks. If you remember from the last videos, I have already defined the code for this book and saved it here. So I'm going to copy it and paste it there. It's basic simple HTML. Okay, I will explain this part here. So let's move to the props section. So basically we define props by using the props property. Props. Okay, props. We are basically setting this HTML page or this book component, which will have a book title, book name, book rating, and book version. So our first prop will be the name, which will be the title of our book. Okay, so our first prop is name. Okay, we will define its properties inside this object area. Okay, what will be the type of name? It will be type string. Okay, and is it required or not? We can define these as well. If it is not defined, then it will by default not required, but if we specify it, it will be required. Okay, required true. Okay, this is required true. Let's add for the version. Our next prop name is version. Okay, it will be of type. What will be the type of this prop? Will be string. Okay, our next prop will be book version. Book rating. So we will say that what's the name of our prop? It's rating. Let's define its properties. It will be of type number. Okay, default. We can also define the default property value of a prop. Okay, so if nothing is assigned, the default value will be used. Default, let's say default is 8. Okay, so our component is ready. Let's move and import it in this area. Okay, so I have to define this here as well. What is the name of our component? Basically its name is book, and let's say book here as well. It is imported here. Okay, but automatically I have to import app button as well. Its name is app button. JS. Don't forget the extension. Okay, so guys, we have imported both components. One is book.js and other one is app button. So now we will move here and call the new component which name is book, and which have some props. So let's use it. What is the name? Its name was book. Okay, so let's say book. Okay, going to call book. As you know, we have defined the props in the component. So the props were like name. We can define it here. What was the let's say the biggest 7 secrets. I don't know about this book, whether it exists or not, but I'm just assuming. Okay, let's say the version is 1 and rating is 9. Rating is 9. Guys, we have already defined our default value for rating, but we are overriding it. Okay, and as you know, we have put a check on rating that it should be a number, so we are going to bind it here to tell the views specifically about this. Okay, so that user cannot pass any string or array in this area. Okay, so let's check our output in the browser. My node server is already running. Okay, so this is the output. Let me move this submit button below. So a good looking component comes. Okay, now let's check the output in the browser. So guys, this was our book component, and it has these three props. Let's check with the help of Vue.js. So let's see. We are going to look here into Vue dev tools to check our book component. These are the props. We can see that props are coming with the name of name, rating, and version. So as I explained that uh, we can assign the default value to the rating. Let's remove rating. What it will show here, rating will take the value of 8, as I have defined it to 8. Okay, so one thing more, in this component, in book.js component, I have this type of string name, and it's required. What will happen if I remove this name from this component? It will throw a warning or error. Let's check console. Yes, it's giving me the warning, missing required prop name. Okay, so it's the required, so we will must give the name of the book. Okay, so guys, in this way these props are communicating with the parent component. Okay, so one thing more, let's do some play work with this app button component in on which we were working in the last video. We will assign some props to it and check how is it working. Okay, so let's move to the app button. Here we will come, basically we can access the prop with the name, and we can access the data property just by referencing the name. So both are same for both the things, for attributes and for props. Okay, so let's define a prop in app button. Okay, and our prop will have button type. Okay, it will have a type, and sorry, I have missed these columns. And what will be the type of type? Type will be string. Okay, and let's say our primary color of the button is default value for the button is primary. Okay, default will be primary, and it's string. Okay, okay, primary. One thing, don't confuse with this name, type, and type. Both this is the name of prop, while this is the type of prop. Okay, so let's move to our button. We will say that if we don't define any class there into our this component, then by default it should be primary. So I'm going to index.html and say that its type is primary, and we'll check what happens to it. Okay, let's check the output in the browser. App button type is primary. You can see it's accepting a prop here. So what if I say that don't give a default value, but I am again passing it, but if I remove it, primary will be still there. Okay, let's check. It's primary, but if I change it, type secondary. Okay, now it will be secondary instead of primary. It's not overriding it. Yes, it's secondary now. So in this way we are passing props to this app button component. So now we will we will define few more classes which will have different colors for this button, so we can check our props, how we bind them to a component. Okay, so let's move here. We will say that let's refactor this a little bit. So we will use class binding for it. We can use class binding in different ways. We can use string, we can use an array here, and we can use an object. So I am going to use the object approach. Okay, so let's put, sorry, where I have copied it or not. Control X. Now I will put that code here in these, in this area, and basically I'm saying that this should be applied if a value coming from the props is true, otherwise it will be false. If and if it will be false, then it will not display there. Okay, so let's say display this if it's true. Okay, we will add some few more classes here. Let's say we say bg bg bg. I think we should remove it from here as well. This, the above should be a general css. Okay, and this should be dependent on props. So green. Okay, and on hover green 400 when the type of prop is equal to green. Okay, in this way. So we will copy it and add few more classes. Let's say this one is blue, this one is yellow. Guys, I'm just applying simple classes for learning purpose. Our focus is on props. Blue here as well. Blue, we'll change this to yellow. Okay, and this one as well to yellow. Okay, so basically our primary color, you can it was default as primary. So I have to check now in the browser what's going on. Let's refresh it. It's nothing is applying here, and we will check what's going on here. Do we have any error? No. In view component, let's say type is secondary, so we have to pass the type. Let's suppose we pass type green. The default was primary, and we don't have any css for primary. Okay, so let's say it's yellow. Okay, let's check the output in the browser. Yes, it's yellow, and on hover it will get darker. And if I change it from yellow to blue, in this way we are passing prop from here to this app button. Okay, and there is class binding, and we are dynamically applying these classes depending on the value of type prop. Okay, so it will be blue now. Yes, it's working. So let's check this one. Let's work on this one. Okay, I have not worked on this one but defined it here. So let's suppose if we say that apply a class is loading. Okay, is loading on this button, on this button when it's processing. Okay, and I will define a prop here, processing. Processing, and it will be type boolean. And by default it will be false. Okay, so now this processing, I am saying when this is this processing is true, apply a class is loading, otherwise don't apply this class. So by default it's false, so this class will not be applied there. Let's check in the elements. So class is not applied. Let's say it's true by default. So let's check now. Now is loading class is applied, so we can play with this class and make some css separately for this. So guys, in this way Vue.js props works. I have explained with two example. I hope you understand what I have explained. Guys, I'm trying my best to explain the things in a best and easy way. If you like my way, please like the video, and do subscribe my channel for future videos. Thank you. Bye bye.